The Faceless Watcher. In a small, forgotten town nestled between rolling hills and thick forests, there was an old, decaying house that no one dared approach. For as long as the townsfolk could remember, strange things happened around the house. Children spoke of shadows that moved on their own, and adults whispered about the Faceless Watcher who was said to roam the woods at night, looking for a new victim. One evening, a curious young man named Eric decided to investigate. He'd grown tired of the endless warnings and superstitions and wanted to prove to himself, and the town, that there was nothing to fear. Armed with nothing but a flashlight and his phone, Eric set off toward the haunted house as the sun dipped below the horizon. As he approached the house, the air around him grew colder, the wind howling through the skeletal branches of the surrounding trees. Despite the chill, Eric pressed on, ignoring the uneasy feeling gnawing at the back of his mind. When he reached the front porch, he hesitated, his hand hovering over the door handle. The house was eerily silent, and he could feel something watching him, though he saw no one. Summoning his courage, Eric pushed the door open. The interior of the house was worse than he expected. Broken furniture was strewn about, and a thick layer of dust coated every surface. But what struck him most was the overwhelming sense of dread that clung to the air, making it hard to breathe. His flashlight flickered as he moved deeper into the house. In the distance, he heard faint footsteps, though they didn't sound human. Eric spun around, his heart racing. "Hello?" he called, his voice trembling. Silence. Just as he was about to give up and leave, a loud creak echoed from upstairs. Against his better judgment, Eric slowly ascended the stairs, his flashlight barely illuminating the rotting steps beneath him. The closer he got to the top, the more his skin prickled with fear. Something was wrong, horribly wrong. At the end of the hallway stood a door slightly ajar. A dim, unnatural light spilled from the crack. Eric's hand shook as he pushed the door open. Inside the room stood a figure, tall, unnaturally thin, and covered in tattered black rags. It had no face. Where its features should have been, there was only smooth, pale skin. The Faceless Watcher. Eric froze, his breath catching in his throat. The figure moved toward him, its limbs creaking like old wood. He tried to run, but his legs felt like they were weighed down. The Watcher reached out with a bony hand, and just as it touched Eric's shoulder, everything went dark. When Eric woke, he found himself outside the house, lying in the dirt. He was alive, but something had changed. He scrambled to his feet, desperate to leave the cursed place behind. But as he reached the edge of the woods, he saw his reflection in the cracked window of a nearby shed. His face was gone. Eric screamed, but no one could hear him. From that day forward, he became the new Faceless Watcher, cursed to wander the woods, waiting for his next victim.